101 2024. Good evening and welcome to News Desk. 45 minutes of news, views, comments, analysis about Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. My name is Henson Decker presenting. In the airlines, President Joseph Boakai hosts first major energy roundtable with stakeholders in Monrovia, underscores the critical role of the energy sector in the overall development of Liberia. Man aged 28 jailed for allegedly raping his 12-year-old stepdaughter in Monrovia. More than 10 Liberian students in Ethiopia risk deportation by the Ethiopian government as they called for urgent intervention by the Liberian government. And away from Liberia, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu to introduce a 3-month ban on ministers and other government officials from going on public-funded foreign trips. The details of these developments, news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers, and of course, your text reactions are all part of today's edition of the news program. We'll take a break to rejoin you. Thanks for being with us. Up next is Olivia Bound with the news bulletin. Good evening.
Good evening, Hanson, and good evening to all. President Joseph Boakai has underscored the critical role of the energy sector in the development of Liberia. The president said the energy sector is at the top of his administration's agenda, and it is pivotal to achieving the growth needed to elevate the ordinary people out of poverty. Speaking at his first Energy Round Table Thursday at the Executive Mansion, President Boakai said his government is committed to fast tracking and completing the phase two of the Mount Coffee Extending Project. President Boakai, however, called for international partners' assistance to support the energy sector, which he said has the potential to effect growth across all sectors of the country. He assured the foreign partners that the projects to improve the energy sector will be delivered to the highest international standards. In a related development, Professor Benjamin Camon, our technical advisor at the Environmental Protection Agency, has alarmed over statistics that only 20% of the population in Liberia has regular access to electricity. Professor Camon emphasized the importance of considering solar energy as a viable solution to address the country's electricity challenges. He made these remarks while delivering a speech on behalf of acting EPA Deputy Executive Director Dwebole at the opening of a two-day round table discussion on renewable energy investment framework. The event was organized by the Environmental Protection Agency in collaboration with partners in Monrovia. Professor Camon stressed that the Liberian government remains committed to efforts aimed at providing clean energy to its citizens. A 28-year-old man identified as Freeman Joffier has been sent to jail for allegedly raping his 12-year-old stepdaughter. Defendant Freeman, according to Iowa judicial correspondent, allegedly committed the act on Valentine's Day in Busse Quarters, Monrovia. Police record shows that the act was allegedly committed when the survivor was lying down in the room when he entered and undressed her and forcibly had sex with her. The survivor lives with her stepfather and her mother in a single room, and after the incident, she immediately reported her stepfather to her mother, but her mother refused to take legal action against her lover. Our judicial correspondent further said that defendant Freeman willingly admitted to sexually abusing his stepdaughter in the presence of his pastor Emmanuel Fambule for his Valentine. Medical reports from Hope for Women International One Stop Center confirmed that the survivor was tampered with. More than 10 Liberian students the studying in Ethiopia are expected to be deported back to the country by the Ethiopian government. The president of the Liberian students in Ethiopia disclosed that several Liberians are also in prison due to issues surrounding their documents. Samuel Siafa said they have engaged the Liberian embassy in the country over ill treatment meted against them on several occasions, but no action has been taken by the Liberian government through the embassy. According to him, the situation has been in existence for the past 5 years, and they are not willing to return home as deportees. They are appealing to President Bouaka and his government to intervene to have the situation resolved. A Liberian human rights advocate, Adama Dempster, has alarmed over the deplorable conditions of prison facilities across the country. Dempster said the rights of people in detention are being violated because the conditions in which they live are below standards. He named congestion of the facilities, lack of healthy food, poor medical care, among others, as issues confronting inmates in Liberia. Adaman Dempster, who is the Secretary General of the Civil Society Human Rights Advocacy Platform of Liberia, said these conditions violate the Nelson Mandela's rules on minimum standard for prison to which Liberia is a signatory. In the rules, according to Dempster, the late South African leader outlined standards to improve life in prison, considering his experience in jail for 27 years. Speaking Thursday on the Truth Breakfast show, Dempster said the rights of these people are being violated and government must put in place measures to improve conditions at prison centers across the country. A group under the banner Citizens United to Promote Development and Accountability has called on members of the Liberian Senate to support the establishment of a war and economic crime squad for Liberia. Victor Ballo, the executive director of the organization, expressed dismay at the apparent delays in the Senate's action on this critical matter. In an interview with this station, Bala criticized the Senate, stating that it is inconceivable for the upper house, tasked with copying impunity, to start the process of setting up the quad. Balo emphasized that failure by the Senate to concur with the House of Representatives would effectively endorse a culture of impunity for those committing crimes. He urged Senate pro tempore Youngly Kanga Lawrence to take a leading role in advocating for the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Squad in Liberia. The Ministry of Health and Youth and Sports have lauded the Network for Empowerment and Progressive Initiative for the donation of several items to the two ministries. The Mental Health Division of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Youth and Sports said the items will aid the two government institutions to function effectively. Making remarks on behalf of the Mental Health Division of the Ministry of Health, the Deputy Director, Famata Williams Innes, described the donation for NIPI as timely. She said the items came at a time their offices are challenged with printing, stationery, among others. For their parts, the Deputy Minister for Youth Development, Bryant McGill, and Deputy Minister for TVED, Laramount Youngton, thanked the Network for Empowerment and Progressive Initiative for identifying with the ministry at the time they have taken over and lacking the items donated. Both ministers, McGill and Youngton, vowed to continue working with NEPI terming the institution as partner in progress. The executive director of the Community of Hope Agriculture Project, Bishop Robert Bimba, has reassured his commitment to rice farming to ensure that Liberians feed themselves. Speaking Thursday at program marking the commencement of harvest by the Community of Hope Agriculture Project, Bishop Bimba stressed that when Liberians pay attention to the agriculture sector, it will improve the livelihood of farmers and encourage them to produce more to make the country self-sufficient. Bishop Bimba further called on the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Agriculture to invest in farming to attract more people to the agriculture sector. This, he said, will end the importation of rice. Civil rights activist and former Makipi County senatorial candidate Vandala Patrick says President Joseph Boakai stands the risk of losing grounds in the country if he fails to appoint Magibians in key positions in his government. Patrick said the people of Magibi supported the Unity Party overwhelmingly, ensuring that Boakai won the county during the first round and the presidential runoff last year. He said that a qualified people in Magibi will lead the UP campaign and ensured Boakai got the victory and they must be considered for appointment. Vandala Patrick noted that President Boakai or his VP Coon will pay a huge price in 2029 if they overload the plots of Magibians, like what Boakai suffered during the 2017 elections before former President Ellen Johnson solely failed the people of Magibi. Madam Kamena Sifos Yeke has been dismissed as a Deputy Director General of the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation with immediate effect. The executive mansion said Madam Yeke was relieved of her post due to insubordination and disrespect to the office of the president. According to an executive mansion release, Madam Yeke's failure to adhere to the high standards of conduct expected of a public servant has resulted in her immediate removal from the post. The Liberian leader expressed appreciation for her service to the corporation, but noted that he cannot tolerate any behavior that goes against the best interest of the country. The president assures the public that the decision has been made with utmost confidence and in the best interest of the corporation. President Boakai further assured that he remains committed to upholding the principles of integrity and accountability in all aspects of governance and will continue to ensure that public servants adhere to the highest standards of conduct. Residents of Myean District in Riverside County have threatened to prevent the senators and representatives from entering the district if they fail to address the issue of communication in 2 weeks. Speaking to Arasia News via phone Thursday, Myean District Youth President Van Decker said the lack of network in the district is alarming and is obstructing businesses. According to Van Decker, the only Lone Star Tower in the district got damaged last year and they have been reaching out to their lawmakers to have the company restore their internet in the area. He further stressed that despite their numerous efforts, the senators of the county and the district representative have failed to advocate on their behalf. Away from Liberia, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu will introduce a 3-month ban on ministers and other government officials from going on publicly funded foreign trips. Mr. Tinubu's chief of staff said the move was prompted by the president's concerns about the rising cost of travel expenses by public officials. The ban will take effect on April 1. President Tinubu and his administration have been criticized by some for their frequent visits abroad. He came under attack, especially on social media, after his government sponsored over 400 people to attend the COP28 climate conference in Dubai last November. Since his inauguration in May 2023, Mr. Tinubu has made more than 15 foreign trips. The Nigerian president is said to have spent at least 3.4 billion naira on domestic and foreign travel in the first 6 months of his presidency, 36% more than the budgeted amount for 2023, the Nigerian newspaper Punch reported in January. Well, has since that's a news bulletin.
The bulletin of news. It is a regular feature on the news program. If you are just joining us in one of the top developments, we are following man age 28 jailed for allegedly raping his 12 years old daughter, the stepdaughter in Morovia. Let's bring you the voices of the newsmakers. President Joseph Walker has underscored the critical role of the energy sector in the development of Liberia. The president said the energy sector is at the top of his administration's agenda, and it is pivotal to achieving the growth needed to elevate the ordinary people out of poverty. Speaking at his first Energy Roundtable Thursday at the Executive Mansion, President Bouaga said his government is committed to fast tracking and completing the phase two of the Mount Coffee extended project.
But the energy sector is at the very top of my administration. Everyone here today, the program is very agreement and without affordable, reliable, renewable power, it was all of them. So she work the stability needed for the needs of people, the ordinary citizens of Nigeria, are poverty. In 2016, when I said that when I spoke, I received a briefing from this St. Paul Second Capital among coffee extension project and gentlemen who are the leaders here today in this room. It was out of this story that an institution to redesign, sign off the project and better to service the West African options of one was today we formally wholeheartedly embrace the opportunity to fast track and complete that protocol understanding under my administration. So let me there say today that not a single shred of value to my position on the SP2 I recorded an amount of the extension we believe was valid and we recommend. Let no one here in this room or in future media or social media doubt my commitment as I here today say we initiated these projects back in 2016 when I was vice president.
In a related development, Professor Benjamin Kamo, a technical advisor at the Environmental Protection Agency, has alarmed over statistics that only 20% of the population in Liberia has regular access to electricity. Professor Kamo emphasized the importance of considering solar energy as a viable solution to address the country's electricity challenges.
Liberia, like many Arab nations, is challenged with a stark energy deficit, with only near 20% of its populace connected to the national grid. This reality necessitates urgent action towards a transition to renewable energy sources. The stakes are hard, not only for meeting the energy needs of our people, but for also aligning with our climate commitments. Liberia's nationally determined contribution, we often call it the NDC, that is Liberia's Climate Change Action Plan, underscored our nation's ambitions and responsibility in the global fight against climate change. Crafted with determination and foresight on NDC outlines, our NDC outlines ambitious targets, including a 30% share of renewable electricity. This commitment is not merely a pledge, but a pathway toward a sustainable future, one that prioritizes environmental stewardship alongside economic development.
Professor Benjamin Kamode is a technical advisor at the Environmental Protection Agency there, speaking on behalf of the acting EPA Executive Director, Dwight Woolley. More than 10 Liberians studying in Ethiopia are expected to be deported back to the country by the Ethiopian government. The president of the Liberian students in Ethiopia disclosed that several Liberians are also in prison due to issues surrounding their documents. Samuel Siafa said they have engaged the Liberian embassy in the country over ill treatment meted against them on several occasions, but no action has been taken by the Liberian government through the embassy.
As I speak now, more than 10 Liberians are on deportation for no good reason. Where are your passports? We have our passport and many Liberian passports taken from them by the immigration and they gave the people to move within the country. And Ethiopia is a country that does not deport. Whenever your visa fee, they will take you to the police station and they call for your embassy to come and identify to serve for you so you can be released in the country. Before you leave the country, you will pay for your own stay. But here our embassy refused. They said that we are not under their roof, they cannot guarantee us. We are calling on the government of Liberia for an intervention in our situation. The Liberian embassy, Ethiopia, has failed to come to our call as the Liberian. Many Liberians in Ethiopia has been in prison for document issues because the Liberian embassy here in Ethiopia have refused to give up identification card for the embassy. And they make us to know that the only help to provide for us is to sign a deportation letter for us. My message is that the connection with the ROM, so this Liberian that they deport through the ROM, the benefit of that identification come directly to the embassy. Based on this reason, they have enforcing Liberian on deportation.
You are alleging that the embassy is in cahoots with the IMO, the International Migration Organization, to deport you guys?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Who is the ambassador there?
The ambassador actually is Mr. Bashi. I don't know the full name, but it's Mr. Bashi.
What's the severity? I know it has disrupted your normal academic studies.
Sure. But this issue has been in the system for 12 to 6 years. The Ethiopia, instead of helping us as the Liberian, they have turned to a serious embarrassment. There is no diplomatic protection for them. Each time, the government of Ethiopia call on the Liberian embassy to identify with their citizen, it's always to get us as the Liberian.
Samuel Siafa is the president of the Liberian students studying in Ethiopia. A Liberian human rights advocate, Adaman Denstop, has alarmed over the deplorable conditions of prison facilities across the country. Dempsey said the rights of people in detention are being violated because the conditions in which they live are below standards. He named congestion of the facilities, lack of health, food, poor medical care, among others, as issues confronting inmates in Liberia. The Ministry of Health and Youth and Sports have lauded the Network for Empowerment and Progressive Initiative for the donation of several items to the two ministries. The Mental Health Division of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Youth and Sports said the items will aid the two government institutions to function effectively. Making remarks on behalf of the Mental Health Division of the Ministry of Health, the Deputy Director Famata Wali Ines, Das Williams Ines described the donation from NEPI as timely.
I want to say thank you on behalf of my soul, on behalf of the entire mental health unit. We want to say a big thank you to Happy. I'm so happy because the fact that you can think about our the unit, you know that as you always say, coming in after everything to depend on the department or your support. And with this straight up, I'm so excited that it's going to help us in so many ways that yesterday we wanted to put we have some challenges, we have a opposite of office. So I'm so happy. I want to say thank you for taking all the units in the inspiration of us. And I pray that we continue the partnership and we continue to work to foster the growth of our country as we work in the health sector. So again, I want to say a very big thank you to you on behalf of the
For their part, the Deputy Minister for Youth Development, Brian McGee, and the Deputy Minister for TV at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Laramo Yondon, thanked the Network for Empowerment and Progressive Initiative for identifying with the ministry at the time they have taken over and liking the items donated. Both Ministers McGee and Yonton vowed to continue working with NEPI, terming the institution as partner in progress.
One opportunity all around to meet some of the challenges we do, like we do at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And in no time, we assure all of us that as soon as we go back to the office, we'll get back to us and we'll smile. Thankfully, today as we turn with some good news, I'm excited about this partnership and I look forward to see how this partnership will go with us. We proud has been our historical partner over time. They are more involved in the new development. They're being able to make a testimony of how we will foster the kind of continuous engagement. We're showing that with this partner people who are so in need of our support to transform them to better heights. And so, on behalf of the Minister, Honorable Cole Bangali, Deputy Minister for Admin, which is representing the Minister of Henry Elton, I would like to look out to the Gathering for the nation and we assure that we're not going to bring any down the partnership with you in many directions to support youth development initiatives. Again, we say thank you for the donation, which includes one million featuring that, every printer and a cartoon and paper to choose that opportunity for all the doing our work and we appreciate and we look forward to optimizing our productivity for this equipment and material that provided to us. Thank you for the opportunity and we look forward to more open relationships. Yes, coming to military and nothing has not been improved yet. Just something we need to organize our work. Thank you so much for coming through good on behalf of all these. There are four departments here behind the Department of Administration, TVED, Youth Development, and Sports. So we can look in the other direction of the other departments so that we can enhance our work also. So thank you. We'll go to the minister and assure one of these days we will continue.
Presenting the materials earlier, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Network for Progressive Initiatives said the organization has noticed that the materials donated to the ministries are things that were lacking. According to Klubosmo Johnson Ball, the organization's goal is to help buttress the efforts of national government in several ways.
As you know, we are from the Network for Empowerment Progressive Initiative, and we are being a long-standing partner now. Maybe despite that there are challenges, as you guys take over, we thought it wise to go for support in this direction. So we brought in one printer, parts of river sheet, and a refrigerator, maybe the heat as well, so that you can be able to cool the water when you are in the office and what have you. This is just a little presentation from us, a little donation from us to help support your office as well. It's a few words for those of us who don't know us or me. I'm Board, CEO of the Network for Empowerment Progressive Initiative. We have been partnering with the Youth Ministry over time, and in one of our meetings yesterday, we saw that there are some glaring challenges, that the ministry face right now. As a partner, we feel like there are areas that we can be able to bridge some of those, gaps. That's why we are here today to make this little donation. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a long way to go, and we'll always be a partner, far or near. Call on us times of challenges, and we will be able to come in and actually see where we can provide some support when the need be. Within the youth sector, as he said, we're actually working with Outreach Youth, and in that direction, we provide cognitive behavior therapy and cash transfer as an intervention in helping to reduce crime and violence in our community. And by that, we are actually poised to create a safer community for all of us. We want to make sure over the years our community can be able to be safer. People can be able to hang their clothes in the street or behind their house and don't have to worry about somebody taking it from there. People will go to bed before worrying that someone will come to break through their doors.
Global. That's the voice of Global Sumo Johnson Board, the Chief Executive Officer of the Network for Progressive Initiative. Earlier, you listened to the Deputy Ministers, Brian McGee and Larmon Iyonton. Let's now welcome Nami Tapia to bring us the sporting developments. Good evening.
Good evening, Hanson. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Passion of Life. Phoenix and Invincible 11 will open Friday's basketball fiesta at its SKD Basketball Gym in Pinksville at 4 p.m., followed by TS Warriors and Bone Eagle in the second division category at 5 p.m. APRC Orders and LTC Bushwa Bulls will meet in what is expected to be a clash of the Titans. Meanwhile, ahead of Mighty Barrow Ancestors Mangas Encounter, which has been discussed as Clash of the Titans, fans are calling on the Liberia Basketball Association stakeholders to ensure that all necessary mechanisms are put in place to avoid embarrassment. The much talked about basketball match between Sisters Mangas and Mighty Barrow scheduled for this Saturday, March 23, 2024, is expected to attract many basketball enthusiasts. Bayern Munich honorary president Uli Hoeneß says the club are competing with Liverpool to appoint Xabi Alonso as manager. Spaniard Alonso, a former player of both clubs, is on the brink of carrying Bayern Leverkusen to their first German Bundesliga title. Bayern and Liverpool are both looking to appoint new managers this summer. Thomas Tuchel will leave Bayern Munich at the end of the season, while the club announced his decision to step down at Liverpool in January. The Reds are second in the Premier League, level on points with leaders Arsenal. Carlos Ancelotti, the Real Madrid manager, extended his deal with the club until 2026 in December. Alonso spent 5 years as a player at Real in between his times at Liverpool and Bayern. Alonso's deal at Leverkusen runs until 2026. Former Manchester City and Real Madrid forward Rubinho must serve a 9-year rape sentence in his home country of Brazil, a court has ruled. Rubinho Forte was found guilty by an Italian court in 2017 of taking part in the 2013 gang rape of a 22-year-old Albanian woman. He has been living in Brazil, which does not extradite ex-nationals. Judges in Brasilia ruled on Wednesday that he should serve his sentence in Brazil following a request from Italy. He will remain free pending a possible appeal against the ruling, lawyers said. The former Brazil international, who has won World Cups for his country, was playing for AC Milan at the time of the crime. After being found guilty, he lost an appeal in 2020 before Italy's highest court upheld his sentence in 2022. Italian prosecutors then issued an international arrest warrant for him. That footballer, who spent 2 years with Manchester City, told a Brazilian network on Sunday that the sex had been consensual. Rubinho won 2 La Liga titles in 4 seasons at Real Madrid before joining City for the then British record fee of €32.5 million on transfer deadline day in September 2008. Also, Sheikh Musa's first day as owner of the Premier League club. That's all from our footsteps.
Thanks to Naomi Tapia for the sporting development. Sports is a regular segment on the news program The executive director of the Community of Hope Agriculture Project, Bishop Robert Bimba, has reassured his commitment to rice farming to ensure that Liberians feed themselves. Speaking Thursday at program marking the commencement of harvest by the Community of Hope Agriculture Project, Bishop Bimba stressed that when Liberians pay attention to the agriculture sector, it would improve the livelihood of farmers and encourage them to produce more to make the country self-reliant.
challenges growing small. And we just were on a growing organization, like many other like growing entities, we started off in 2008, not knowing where we and how we go, but we have this desire that is in line with scripture to grow food and feed ourselves. I personally believe that we should not be hungry in this thing to be too blessed to be hungry for what God has given to us. So the best way to solve a problem is not to complain is to take initiative. So we started taking initiatives and then the government heard it. We were among the first groups that produced the certified seed in post-war Liberia. We produced 10 metric tons of certified seed in 2011 with the support under the Ministry of Agriculture and the United States government called the PASMA program. And that began to take us from one step to another step. And since then, we need to use the Perry Urban program because many people left from the rural areas, they came in the city, and we decided to keep growing food in the urban area. And you can see for yourself from the back, we have not rested. We have been a long journey going to jail, going back and forth, people fighting, but we have not stopped because we understand that we need to turn wastelands into productive land. We want to be grateful to the government of Liberia, from Ellen Johnson government to Kenya as a president to ensure what you got to do that people growing food in people group. Like many like the honorable was ages for. And then when she came and saw it, she said this is encouraging. And then we have former president Ria, and now we have President Joseph Dima Walker, who has prioritized agriculture, and we are grateful to God that we are onto this process.
The voice of the executive director of the Community of Hope Agriculture Project, Bishop Robert Bimba. Residents of Mower District in Riverside County are fighting to prevent the senators and representatives from entering the district if they fail to address the issue of communication in 2 weeks. Speaking to RSN News via phone, Mower District Youth President Van Dega said the lack of network in the district is alarming and is obstructing businesses. According to Found, the only Lone Star Tower in the district got damaged last year, and they have been reaching out to their lawmakers to have the company restore their internet in the area.
Since the election of last year got over, which was in November, we started experiencing, but before then, the network issue or the Rooster Tower that is situated in Budize, even in Zambia, started creating problems, and citizens started to engage the statutory district superintendent and that of Rooster authority. But then we would come and do it, and they don't all go, but after 1 week like that, you look for the network. Sometimes we go for almost like a month plus before you go look it in the camp. So when after the election, we elected our lawmakers, and we are aware currently of the
Van Deckard is Moa Youth President in Electoral District 1 Riverside County. Civil rights activist and former Magui County Senator Kennedy Vandera Patrick says President Joseph Boyka stands the risk of losing grounds in the county if he fails to appoint Magivians in key positions in his government. Patrick said the people of Magivi supported the Unity Party overwhelmingly, ensuring that Boyka won the county during the first round and the presidential run of last year.
I'm disappointed because promises have been broken. My DB has been marginalized, not just in the institute. Consistently, I think it's about time that we begin to speak and ensure that political leaders come to the understanding that you cannot betray trust very soon. Remember, my DB has been a fraternal ally of the Unity Party. During the election, these people they were running in the midst of everything, in our money, and guess what? First round of the election, they deliver my second round of the election, they deliver my bill. But interestingly, the UP does not have any elected senator or representative in my bill. So what we sit and we think a country like my bill, the most populated country in the Republic of Nigeria in terms of vote and citizens, can deliver my bill to the Unity Party in the midst of the competing challenges. I will expect the president to prioritize my DB for being resistant to the temptations of money our people were induced with, which attempt at storming infrastructure, buying everyone, if these people stood firm. And the president made a promise that because of the way things were proceeding, to build a government of confusion, every country will have a government. That
Vandera Patrick is a civil rights activist and the former Magui County Senatorial candidate. A group honored the Batna Citizens United to promote development and accountability has called on members of the Liberian Senate to support the establishment of a World and Economic Crimes Court for Liberia. Victor Balu, the executive director of the organization, expressed dismay at the apparent delay in the Senate's action on this critical matter. In an interview with the station, Balu criticized the Senate, stating that it is inconceivable for the upper house tasked with curbing impunity to stall the progress of setting up the code.
We are calling on them, especially the pro-temp Senator Youngikanga Lawrence, Darius DeLon, and all of the lawmakers who have been advocating all the period of time for equity, for justice in Liberia, to make it their responsibility to prepare a resolution or either concur with that resolution or prepare a bill that will tend to call for the establishment of war and economic crime court. The reason why we calling for the establishment of war and economic crime court in Liberia is that if you trace the genesis of our crisis, it is based on what we call the denial of basic social services to our people, the denial of justice. All of these things compounded to the grievances that Liberia had at the time that that resulted to our civil crisis or our civil debacle that claimed the lives of over 250,000. Now, those who perpetrated that identical crime of injustice, where people were mutilated, people were killed, innocent people were killed in the process, I think it is time for them to be brought to book.
Victor Balu is the executive director of Citizens United to promote development and accountability. They're bringing us to the end of today's edition of News Decks. As we take leave of you, these are the top stories we have been following. President Joseph Boakai hosts first major energy roundtable with stakeholders in Monrovia underscores the critical role of the energy sector in the overall development of Liberia. Man aged 28 jailed for allegedly raping his 12-year-old stepdaughter in Monrovia. More than 10 Liberian students in Ethiopia risk deportation by the Ethiopian government as they called for urgent intervention by the Liberian government. And away from home, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu to introduce a 3-month ban on ministers and other government officials from going on publicly funded foreign trips. Thanks to our correspondents, reporters, writers, editors, and those who help in making today's edition of News Desk a success. Naomi Tapia brought us this Putin developments. Olivia Bound read for us the news bulletin, the foreign development. Thanks to the voice of Yahweh Mesno for relaying this broadcast and Truth FM in Sacramento, Nima County. Kupa Sangasa, the country and able coordinator, the sound Myean Torgbean sat behind the camera. For and on behalf of the news team, my name is Hansen Decker. Good evening.
Your family members abroad need to send you money? Worry no more. Henceforth, receive your international money transfers from Europe, USA, and South Africa made via Western Union, MoneyGram, and many more directly into your Orange Money account. At Orange Money, we are family.
Orange Money.
Introducing the Orange Money Card to Wallet service. How to transfer money from your bank card to an Orange Money wallet with the Card to Wallet service. Go to the Orange Botswana website at www.orange.co.bw and select the drop-down menu and click on Orange Online. This will open a new tab which will ask you to sign in. Click on Sign Up to register for the Card to Wallet service as a new user. Enter your name, surname, the Orange number and email address that will be linked to this service. Proceed to enter your occupation and create and confirm your password, which you will then be required to sign in with every time you make a card to wallet transfer. You will then receive an email confirmation. Enter the one-time PIN that you received on your phone. Click on the email confirmation link to finish off the registration. Once the registration is complete, log in, click on Card to Wallet, then enter the Orange Money number you are transferring to and the amount. Continue by entering the source of funds, purpose of funds, and proceed to payment. Click the Visa or MasterCard option and enter your card number, your full names as well as the card expiry date. Proceed to enter the CVV number and click Continue. Enter the one-time PIN that you received on your phone to complete the transaction. Click on Continue to complete the transaction. And just like that, the transaction is complete.